Okay guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Today I'll be opening some chests and I'll be reviewing my deck. I've been using this deck in Arena 6 and I've had great success with this deck getting to Arena 7 and using it effectively to take out enemy towers and take out enemy troops. So the first thing I've got is the Goblin Barrel, effective for shooting at the enemy tower, doing some initial damage. Next is the Fireball, very effective for taking out more HP, higher HP troops that do a lot of damage, like the Witch or the Wizard. Our Skeleton Army speaks for itself, able to take out the Prince very effectively, or any other tank. For example, if the enemy drops down a Hawk Rider, just drop down a Skeleton Army and you've taken care of that attack. Next is the Battle Ram, because of course this is a Battle Ram deck. The card has just been released, great card, great stats, so let me just go over it real quick. Hit points 688, 224 damage at level 4 right now, or level 6, I'm sorry. I've been able to upgrade it to level 6 because of the card pack I recently bought, and I just got some cards out of a chest yesterday. Very effective, just throw it in there, hits the enemy tower, throws the ram down, and then you've got two barbarians doing a lot more damage against the tower, but also against troops that the enemy drops down in order to defend their tower. Next is the arrows, very effective for taking down minion horde or skeleton army, something you see a lot in Arena 6. Next is the Zap, also very effective, only 2 elixir, and it takes down the skeleton army in one Zap, in one go, very fast. But you gotta aim it right, so you hit the entire army in one go and don't miss out on some of these skeletons. Next is the Prince. The Prince is my main sort of attack unit, because I just throw it in there and make sure I drop it behind either the skeleton army or below a minion horde, so they take the initial damage and not my Prince. Can be easily countered with the skeleton army, but if you drop it right, if you really time your attack, then it's very effective. And the final card is a minion horde, speaks for itself, just drop it on top of a ground unit, or make it attack an air unit, and then you've taken care of the enemy. It does a lot of damage. If it reaches the enemy tower, it's sure to do almost like 30 or 40% of the damage of the tower. So that's great. Let's just go into some footage and I'll show you how it works.
Okay, so the first thing I do in this battle is wait for my elixir to go up to 10 elixir, just to be sure I have enough elixir to drop down my first troop, and then right after that drop down my second troop when necessary. And as you can see, the opponent is also waiting to drop down their troops and waiting for their elixir to charge up. But I've put my Prince on the right side of the field, and I'm able to do a lot of damage on their tower. And as you can see, I use my minion horde to take care of their elite barbarians, but my Prince has also been taken out by the Valkyrie and by the tower. So I've got to be careful here that the Valkyrie doesn't do a lot of damage on my tower. But as you can see, I use my Fireball to take out the Valkyrie, no damage done whatsoever. And my minion horde was able to do a lot of damage on their tower. And the enemy wanted to use their minion horde with a Rage in order to do a lot of damage on my tower, but I was able to take them out with my arrows effectively. Still, I'm ahead of the player. They're at 1500 and 1600 HP at their towers, and I still have 100% of my lives. And I just dropped down my skeleton army in order to take care of the Hawk Rider and drop my Prince right behind them. And unfortunately, the enemy was able to quickly drop down the Valkyrie right at the right time, and they've done a lot of damage on my Prince, which takes them out immediately because of the arrows. And also my Goblin Barrel wasn't as effective as I wanted it to be, because I dropped it down, but right after that the enemy timed the arrows real well. This enemy has a legendary, the Sparky, which I just unlocked in the previous video. But it doesn't really do a lot of damage on the tower. It's fully charged now, and it does have Rage, so it's way more powerful than it should be. But I was able to do a lot of damage with my Fireball and then drop down my minion horde right on top of it to take it out immediately. And here I use my skeleton army again, as I told you in the deck strategy. You gotta use it in order to take out their attacks and take out their tanks, so they can do a lot of damage on your tower. And here I'm using my Battle Ram in order to just storm the enemy tower, and it worked really well because they only have 131 lives left. And he's trying to put down another Sparky with another Valkyrie, but again, I use my Fireball on the Sparky, do a lot of damage at half HP, and then I drop down my minion horde in order to take him out. And so far I've just really won the battle already, because his tower is only at 50 HP, and I shoot my arrows, but he's been able to take out my tower already, so I've got to be careful. But before the timer ends, at the 0 seconds mark, I'm able to take out his tower with my battle ram because it just charges the tower. Gives priority over buildings than over troops. And at this point, I just storm the enemy with a lot of my minions and they do a lot of damage on his main tower. And his Sparky is pretty much useless right now because I took it out really easily. I dropped down my Prince, which is taken out by his minion horde very fast. But I'm able to land the first charge hit, so it does a lot of damage on his tower. And at this point, I'm just really ahead of the enemy by far, because I dropped down my skeleton army just at the right time to take out his elite barbarians and his Orc Rider. And here I go, I put down another battle ram, which will charge his tower. It won't really take notice of the minion hordes, which I tried to set just to stun them for a bit and try to take them out in one go, which didn't work out. But my arrows just took care of them. And he's only at 474 lives left. I hit him with another fireball, so only 266 lives left. He tries to put down another Sparky and a Valkyrie, and he tries to power them up, but really they're no match for my minion horde, which is already taken out. Throw the Goblin Barrow in them to do the last bit of damage and take out the tower. And now he's only at 2 lives left, but I've got enough distance spells, so I'm able to take him out with either the fireball or the arrows, and I chose the fireball, and I took him out completely. He had no chance. So in the next match against Jenny, you can see that she has a lot of minion cards. She has the Skeleton Army, the Minion Horde, and Graveyard, and Tornado. So this deck of hers is really focused on trying to overthrow me with a lot of minions, do as much damage as she can, and try to take out some of my stronger cards. As you can see, I dropped down my Prince and the Skeleton Army, and I don't know why she's waiting. But because of the Tornado, all of my skeletons are taken out in one go, because Tornado is really effective for that. They pull them towards the center and do a lot of damage. But because I have the arrows, those minions are pretty much useless, because you can take them out in one go. And here I am waiting for my elixir to fill up. But before I can fill up my elixir, they put down a Prince, which I take out really fast with my Minion Horde, and that's what the Minion Horde is for. Just attack those ground units which are not able to attack air units and do as much damage as possible. And if you're lucky like I am right here, the Minion Horde is able to reach the enemy tower without taking too much damage, and you can do a lot of damage on their tower. And my Battle Ram was able to finish off the tower completely because it just rammed the tower, and there it was finished. And here are my minions doing some of the work for me. They're just attacking the main tower, doing some of the damage. It just intimidates an opponent and it sets the tone for the battle. I'm already winning this battle. Only like 30 seconds into the match, I've already taken their tower. And here they are trying to attack me with the balloon, which is really not as effective as they want it to be because of my Minion Horde. The Minion Horde is very effective against the balloon because it's able to take out the balloon, make sure it doesn't reach your tower, and then they can fly away from the bomb and don't take any damage whatsoever. So here we both are charging up our elixir, and we're both wanting to put down our Prince. And as I put down my first, the opponent goes also for a Prince, but in combination with a Minion Horde, which is not very effective because I can take him down with my arrows, control the damage. My Prince has also been taken out, but that's not too bad. I'm able to take out the Skeleton Army with a zap. So far I'm still in front, so now I'm going to try and defend my right tower instead of attacking more. So I put down my troops on the right side of the battlefield. Put a Prince down, and they're putting down Graveyard just to spawn a lot of skeletons and take care of my Prince. But I just put down an arrow. I waited for some of the skeletons to spawn, put down an arrow, took out most of the skeletons. And now I've got most of my troops on the battlefield. All of my Skeleton Army, the Prince, which survived all of the attacks. And I'm just, I got my Minion Horde taking care of the balloon again. Tornado is doing a lot of damage on my troops, but they've done so much damage that I can just finish off the main tower with a fireball, followed by an arrows, and I've won this battle as well. So again, the first thing you do is make sure the elixir charges up to 10 elixir, so you're able to put down a lot of forces and make sure you don't get overrun by your enemy. Usually the enemy either drops down a witch or a wizard right behind their main tower, either on the left or the right side. They did so on the left side, and I'm trying to counter on the right side, but they put down a musketeer and a bomber, which pretty much takes care of my battle ram immediately. But I used my fireball to take care of the witch and make sure she doesn't do any damage on my main tower or on my left tower. And then I used my minion hordes to take care of their tank, and I've pretty much fended off their entire attack because he wasn't able to reach my tower. Even though he dropped down a giant and put his forces behind the giant, my minion horde was no match for them because they couldn't attack air units. And then because I have a low elixir troop and a high elixir troop, I'm able to put them down fairly quickly. I don't need to wait for my elixir to charge up because the prince doesn't really cost that much elixir, and then the goblins, they can do a lot of damage if they move along with the prince. And as you can see, I just won the battle within a minute, I think. So that was very effective. So on to the conclusion of this video, on to the conclusion of this deck. So the main thing really is to fend off their attacks, make sure you defend well, drop down your skeleton army on time, and use your fireball, your arrows, and your sap at the right time to take out most of their minions. And then do a counter attack because they don't have enough elixir to counter your attack again. So you're able to do a lot of damage on one of their towers. Just focus on one tower at a time. I primarily focus on the right tower first, mainly because most of the enemies always go right on their side of the screen, so that would be left from my side of the screen. And that's pretty much it. Take care of their minions with your arrows. Then use the battle ram to do a lot of damage on the tower. And use the minion horde for support, and the prince also to do a lot of damage on the tower. And you can throw in the goblin barrel as it suits you. You can throw it in if they don't have any troops out there with your tower, so they can do some damage on the tower itself and maybe act as a distraction. And that was it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next video.